Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. I know it's not actually Halloween, but I'm in the Halloween spirit. You know, it's September, and so to me, September 1st means Halloween time. I decorated my background a little bit for y'all to really get into the spirit, and I am going to try and review as many horror movies as I can leading up to Halloween. Um, I know for a fact I'm going to be reviewing Child's Play, the original Child's Play. I really like that movie, and that's definitely going to be one of the movies I review. Uh, Again, I'm filming this at night, so if you hear crickets outside, I'm sorry. I try to plug it up, but I don't know. Halloween, maybe the outside noises add to it. I don't know. But anyways, we're going to be talking about a movie that's not a horror movie. Some people consider it a Christmas movie, but I mean, you can sort of mix it for both. I mean, it's kind of Halloweeny, kind of Christmassy. We are going to be talking about Gremlins. Gremlins was released in 1984 and stars Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, Hoyt Axton, Corey Feldman, Francis Lee McCain, Dick Miller, and Polly Holliday. It was directed by Joe Dante and it was produced by Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, and Kathleen Kennedy. And in this movie, a man who is a failed inventor, he goes into this Chinese shop in Chinatown and he buys this little creature that looks like this. And he takes it home to his son, who's played by Zach Galligan, and he gives it to him as a Christmas gift. And when he buys it, he is warned of these three rules, which are: let it get wet, don't feed it after midnight, and don't expose it to bright light. And so he gives it to his son, and he tells him these rules. Okay, well, obviously, it wouldn't be a movie if all three of those rules weren't broken, and so they are. And it begins to multiply, right? And they turn evil, and they start taking over this little town. And so Billy's played by Zach Galligan, and the girl he's talking to, not really dating, but talking to, is portrayed by Phoebe Cates. They set out to save the town and stop the Gremlins. This movie I love. I really, really love this movie. Again, it's not a horror movie. It's not even a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas time, but it's not a Christmas movie. But you can sort of consider it to be, I guess, if you want. This is a really good movie. It won't scare you, but it might scare your kids. So I guess that's why I decided to talk about it for Halloween. I don't know. I literally went and bought these decorations from a dollar store a few minutes ago. Because I care. Okay, all right. So Gremlins. The puppeteering in this movie is amazing. Now, this came out in the 80s, so we didn't have CGI back then. And it's a really good thing that this movie came out in the 80s, too, because if this had come out nowadays, all the Gremlins would be CGI'd, and it would be terrible. But the puppeteering in this movie and the way the puppets are designed and brought to life in this film, it's incredible. Like, when I watch this movie, I really, really do believe that I'm looking at living, breathing things. It's incredible. This movie was actually inspired by a Looney Tunes episode. So back during World War II, they even touch on this a little bit in the movie, but back during World War II, there was this legend going on that gremlins were getting inside of like the engines of planes and stuff, and they were causing them to crash. And there was an episode of Looney Tunes that I believe came out during World War II, or maybe just after, Bugs Bunny on this airplane. And these gremlins are on the airplane trying to make it crash. And so he's on this airplane trying to stop the plane from crashing. And that episode of Looney Tunes was actually what inspired this film. The special effects are really great too. It's so much fun. It's very funny. The gremlins are they're so like, I mean, they're evil, but like in a comical way, sort of like Bebop and Rocksteady from the Ninja Turtles. They're really dumb, so like they're evil, but it's like extremely comical. They love to just screw around and have fun and cause mischief and mayhem, and it makes for some really great stuff. Like they're one of the Gremlins is like wearing like this trench coat like New Yorkers used to wear back in the day, and he like opens it up to Phoebe Cates to like flash her, even though he doesn't really have any private parts or anything. It's just stuff like that. They play poker with each other and stuff. It's so funny. there are moments in this movie where you don't see the gremlins, but you know that they're there. Like, they'll add these little pitter-patter sounds of them running across the floor, and you will hear them knock into stuff, and you'll see, like a little table shake as you hear this pitter-patter to make it seem like that they're running across the floor, but you can't see them. And they do stuff like that, and it's really, really effectful. The best scene from this movie, in my opinion, is the kitchen scene. So, our hero Billy, his mother is portrayed by Frances Lee McCain, and she's not really in the movie much, but when this movie starts to pick up, she's in the house, right, and there's like 4 gremlins in the house, and she goes into her kitchen and she starts battling the gremlins in this kitchen, and she's barely in the movie, but they gave her the best scene in the movie. I love that scene where she's in the kitchen battling these gremlins, and she's like really awesome. Like, she picks up a knife and is like stabbing at it and stuff. It's great, great stuff. The music is really good too, especially the theme song. I love the Gremlins theme. It's iconic. It's so much fun to listen to. Da, 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 da. It's really great. This movie is super creative, and it follows your typical monster movie format, but it executes it differently, and it executes it well. Like, like there's this, typical movie plot would be monsters invading a town, and, hero goes to police to explain this to him, but they don't believe it, and he ends up finding a weakness for this monster to take it down. It's a cliche. The plot is very cliched, but it's executed so differently that it feels very fresh and welcomed. The death scenes in this movie are really cool too. I won't spoil anything for you, but Polly Holliday's character, who by the way is obviously a spoof on the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, she gets the best death scene in this movie. Again, I won't spoil it for you, but basically she gets launched. I will say that she gets launched, and it's it's pretty awesome, man. The death scenes in this movie are really awesome. The first 45 minutes of this movie is almost like a family movie, because the movie really starts to pick up 45 minutes into it, and the first 45 minutes of it's really like a family movie. You get this cute little thing, and he's so nice and friendly, and it's Christmas time, and it's really like a family movie. And then in 45 minutes it does a 360, and it's like, whoa, what happened here? Really, it's really great. And one of the best scenes in this movie, or arguably one of the worst, is Phoebe Cates' speech. So she mentions in the movie that she doesn't like Christmas, but she doesn't explain why. And then later on in the movie, she explains why. And her reasoning for it is just so morbid, but also hilarious. And it was almost cut from the movie, but I decided to leave it in anyways. It's a great scene, but it's also an awful scene. It's funny. And I would like to also point out, this movie was the reason why we have PG-13. It was this movie and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, because both of those movies came out in 1984. Okay, and they were both too strong to be PG, but they weren't strong enough to be rated R. And so they were both rated PG, and parents took their kids to see those two movies, and they complained. They were like, whoa, that was not appropriate for my kid to watch. And so Steven Spielberg actually created the rating of PG-13 after these two movies came out. So you have this movie to thank for PG-13, this movie and Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom. This is pretty funny to think about, because it's really not that bad, especially by today's standards, but I can see why it would scare a little kid. My cons with this movie, and I only got a couple. There's a dog in this movie. So Billy's character, he has a dog, right? And this dog is like the smartest dog in the world, because he can understand fluent English. He knows when someone's talking about him without saying his name, and he understands exactly what they're saying. This is like the world's smartest dog. This dog is like cartoony smart. Like, no dog would be able to, like, if I were just to sit here and my dog was laying here on the floor and I didn't mention his name, but I was just talking to someone about a dog, my dog wouldn't know what I was saying. Okay? They understand key terms, not fluent English. This dog is like super smart. And sometimes, and there's a few moments in this movie where they add like these dumb sound effects. Like one of the gremlins hits its head on a wall at some point in the movie, and like you hear like birds chirping. You know, like in cartoons, like birds will like fly around their heads, and there's a chirping noise. Well, it isn't. It obviously doesn't put birds around his head, but like you hear the chirping noise, and there's a few moments like that, and I'm just like, why that didn't need to be there? That was dumb. But yeah, it's actually kind of an action movie. I mean, there's a scene where like Billy's holding a baseball bat and a gremlin jumps on top of him with a chainsaw, and he's holding his bat and it's trying to chop through this chainsaw. It's really cool. There's a big explosion in this movie. It's just so great. It's just such a great movie. Oh, I forgot to write down my rating. I guess I'll write it down now. Yeah, I do that sometimes when I do my reviews. There we go. But yeah, I love Gremlins. This is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking it out. I'm going to give Gremlins a 90. A 90 out of 100. Sorry, my handwriting, that wasn't good. I was supposed to write on my marker board, but I forgot and I already started recording. Don't feel like getting up to do it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Look forward to more Halloween reviews. Subscribe for more and hit the like button. Leave movie review suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Potty Planner Entertainment for channel updates. Oh, and by the way, I'm going as Marty McFly for Halloween. I posted a couple pictures of my costume on my Instagram if you want to go check that out. But I put together a Marty McFly costume. I'm pretty proud of my costume. I think I made it from scratch, and I like it. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, follow me on Instagram for sure for channel updates. Thank you and much love. Another day, another review. What the crap?